Hey guys, in this Spark AR Studio tutorial I want to show you how you can create your own Flappy Bird game like this for your Instagram. I have created a patch asset which makes it very simple to create a Flappy Bird game like this, and of course you can download this patch asset for free. And I will also include the graphic for the bird and for the obstacles in the download folder so you can use them to follow along this tutorial. This tutorial is maybe a little bit longer and a little bit harder than my previous tutorials, but I'm sure that everyone can do it. So yeah, you control the bird with the head movement to navigate it through the obstacles, and when you hit the obstacle, the game is over. So let's start with this tutorial. Hey again, so let's create this Flappy Bird game here in the Spark AR Studio. I have created a patch for you which makes it very simple to create a game like this. I also have created two graphic assets you can use to create this filter, but of course you can use your own graphics for the bird and also for the obstacles. So yeah, just download those assets. So go to the description of this video, click on the download link, and then you will end up here on this Dropbox page. And here just click on download. After the download is done, you can just unzip the zip folder and then import the assets here. So for this, just go to your assets panel, then go to import from computer, and then select the three assets you have just downloaded: the bird and the obstacle graphic, and also the Flappy Bird game controller, which is very important to create this game in a very simple way. So yeah, just select all of them and then click on open. After the import is done, select both of the textures, go to the right hand side and set the compression to none. So after this is done, we are ready to go to create this filter here. The first step I will do is to create the scene, and then we will do the programming in the patch editor. It is very important that the scene has a specific structure so the patch will work later. So yeah, just follow me along and type in the same values, and also make sure they are in the same order and structure in the scene. So let's go. The first scene object we will create here is a null object. So just click on the plus and search for a null object. So after the null object is created, I will rename this to obstacle 1. So now we need to create another null object, and I will rename this null object to up1 null. Now make sure that this null object is inside of the obstacle 1 null object. So yeah, there is then a little arrow next to it, and you can do this like a drop down. So now we need to create a plane object. So again, click on the plus, search for a plane, and I will rename this plane object to up1. Now we have to drag and drop this up1 plane into the up1 null object. So now the up1 null, and there is also the up1 plane in it. So yeah, just make sure this is done like this and inside of this structure here. So now we have to set the position of the up1 plane object. So go to the right hand side and set the Y position to 0.05. So then go to the up1 null object and set the scale of it to x1 and y3. So now this is already the first obstacle in our scene. And of course we need another obstacle which is down there. So yeah, follow me along for the obstacle which is down here. So again, go to your scene. Now we can already just duplicate this up1 null object. So right click on it and then click on duplicate. So now we have just to rename it from up1 null to down1 null, and the plane inside will be down1. Now we will also set the position of the down1 plane. So select it, go to the right hand side and we have to negate the y axis of the position, so just make it to minus 0.05. And now you can see that this plane is here, from the middle to the bottom. So now make sure the structure is set right. So we have this obstacle 1, and inside we have the up 1 null and the down 1 null object with a scale of 1x and 3y for both of them. And inside the both null object we have one plane with up 1 and down 1. So now it is very easy to create the second obstacle, because in the end there will be just two obstacles moving and looping here through the screen. So let's do this. So close the obstacle 1, right click on it and then duplicate it. Now it is also renamed to obstacle 2. Now you just have to rename the objects inside of it. So the up 1 null is going to be a up 2 null, the up 1 is going to be a up 2, the down 1 is going to be a down 2 null, and this, the last plane, will be a down 2. This is very important, that this scene has the right structure and also the right name, so we don't get confused later. So this is more or less the most important part for this filter. Now we have to create two more objects in our scene. The first object will be a face tracker, and the second object will be a plane object. So I will rename the plane object to bird. So this will be the bird we will control with our face movement. Now we will set up some materials for the obstacle and also for the bird. I will just use colors now, and then later we will use our textures. So just go to your assets panel, click on the plus and create a new material. Then select the material and set the shader type to flat. This will be the bird material, so I will set it to, let's say, make it orange. And then we need another material. Of course, set the shader type to flat, and for the color I will use a green color. So now I will go back to my scene and set the materials to the object. So the bird object will get the material 0, so that it is already orange. And then I will open my tree here, the up 1, and will get the material 1, and the down will also get the material 1. Then I will open obstacle 2, and for the up 2 I will also set it to the material 1, and down 2 will also be material 1. So now we can finally start programming the game in our patch editor and make those object moves. So the first thing we will do is to drag and drop here our patch, our Flappy Bird game controller, into the patch editor. This is the patch I have created to make it as simple as possible for you to create this game. So let's go. After we have created this orange Flappy Bird game controller patch, we also have to drag and drop the face tracker from our scene to the patch editor. When we have done this, Spark AR will automatically create these 3 patches for us. Now we connect the 3D position output of the face tracker to the face 3D position input of our Flappy Bird game controller patch. So then we will go to our bird plane, go to the right hand side and click on the little arrow next to position to extract the position properties to our patch editor. So now we can find this yellow patch and we can connect the bird 3D position output to the 3D position input of the bird patch. And now the bird object is already on the left side of the screen and we can already control it. So then we will change the obstacles here so they are not in the middle. So they will move from the right side of the screen to the left side. So follow me along. When you see here, when you move closer to the patch we have imported, you can see here up 3D position, down 3D position, obstacle 1, obstacle 2. Yes, so we have to connect those. For this, we need the position of the null objects in which are inside of our of the first null object. So up 1, extract the position, and also for down 1, extract the position on the right hand side. Then open the obstacle 2 null object and also extract the up 2 position to the patch editor, and also do the same for the down 2 null object, extract the position. Now we can already connect the up 3D position to all the up patches we have here, so to the up 1 null and to the up 2 null, and for the down also to the down 1 null and to the down 2 null. So now we have already a gap between our obstacles, but at the moment they are at the same place both, so they are overlapping. To change this, we have to extract the position property of our obstacle 1 and obstacle 2 null object. So and now you know why it was so important to rename them right and also make sure that they are in the right order here in the scene. So go to your scene, select obstacle 1, null object, go to the right hand side and extract the position. And do the same for obstacle 2. So and now we can connect the obstacle 1 3D position output to the 3D position input of the obstacle 1 property patch, and also the same with the obstacle 2 patch. So and now the two obstacles are outside of the screen, so we can already see them here in the viewport that they are outside of the screen. But we can already let them move. So for this, go to your game controller patch and then just activate here the play boolean, and then you will see that the obstacles are moving and we can fly through with our bird. But at the moment there is no game logic involved or anything, there is no counter, there is nothing, we can just see the obstacles moving. So and I think that's already pretty nice. So let's move on. Now we will build an indicator if the obstacle is hit or we have passed the obstacle. This is not necessary, but I will add this so we can test the filter when the obstacle is hit and when the obstacle is passed. So we can do some adjustments here at the patch to make it to make a good game out of it, but because it would be not cool that when we hit the obstacle that it would be passed, or otherwise when we pass the object that it would be a game over. So I will just create two objects for this. So I will create a plane object. I will create two plane objects. So just duplicate one. One will be pass and one will be hit. So then we will need two new materials. So the material 2 will be a red material because it will be hit, and then we need another material, and this will be a green one. So green. Then I will make sure that the two objects are not overlapping. So I will just move one to the left. The pass will get the green material, and the hit a little bit to the right, which will get the red material. So now I will back them into a null object. We'll call this null object indicator. Just drag and drop them into the indicator patch and move them a little bit up to the edge of the screen. So we have two indicators, and I will just You will now see for what they are. So now we have to extract the visibility output of the pass and the hit. That's the property. And then we will connect the pass to the passed output of the game controller patch and the hit to the hit output of the game controller patch. And now when we hit the obstacle, the red one will light up, and when we pass one, the green one will light up. So now you will see already the problem here, that now we are, you see we are touching the obstacle, but it is green sometimes, so we can change this now. And now I will show you how you can fine-tune your filter, because when you use other assets, you will have to fine-tune the filter. So for this we have to change our Y offset here. When we set it to 0.02, now it is, you can see there is more tolerance, so we have to set it up to 0.0. So we have to set up the Y offset to 0.05, and now when we just touch the obstacle, it is red. So you can play around. When your bird is smaller, for example, you have to do an offset for like 0.01, but we will change this later, because the bird assets I have here is not, will not fill out here the whole square. I hope this is clear. If not, let me know in the comments. So now we will set the right textures for the bird and for the obstacles, so the game will look much prettier. So for this we go to our material 0, which is the bird material, set the color to white, and for the texture we choose our bird texture. But of course you can use your own textures here, and also do this for the material 1. So I will also set the color back to white, and for the texture I will choose the obstacle texture. Now you will see that the obstacles on top are not are not looking right, because we have to turn around them 180 degrees. So to do this, go to your up obstacles, to the plane object in your scene. So open up obstacle 1, then up 1 null, select the up 1 plane, and here change the rotation of the Z axis to 180. So 1 is already right, but the second one has to be changed too. So open obstacle 2, the null object, go to the up 2 plane and rotate it 180 degrees. So now all of them are right. So, and now we can test if the bird is right. So this is already red, as you can see. It is not touching the obstacle, and is already red. So we have to set down our Y offset. So I think 0.04 will do the job. So when we touch it now, it is red. Maybe set it down to 0.05, so it is much better, I think. Yes, this is a good value. So now of course we need a score, because now it makes no difference if we hit the obstacle or not. The game just moves on and there is no score. So for this we need a 2D text element in our scene. So create one, go to the plus at the scene panel and search for 2D text. So now I will rename this 2D text element to score. Then I will go to the right hand side, and next to text at typography you will also find a little arrow. So this means we can extract this property to the patch editor. Now go to your orange Flappy Bird Game controller patch and you will find a score output here. Now just connect this score output to the text input of our yellow score. So now we can already see that this is 18, 19 when we pass, and when we hit the obstacle, they are the counter is not counting up. So I want the counter in the middle and a little bit bigger. To do this, select the score object in the scene, go to the right hand side, set the fill to fill with, and then increase the font size. I will set it to 80, and for the color I will do it in a white color. So now the game is looks already pretty nice, but there is no game over when we hit an obstacle. So we will change this now, but before we do this, we have to extract the visibility of the bird object first. So go to your scene, select the bird object, go to the right hand side, and also extract the visibility property of the bird plane to your patch editor. So now search for the visibility bird output of the game controller patch and connect it to the yellow visible bird patch. So now the bird should disappear, but it won't, because the test mode of the game controller is on. As you can see it here at this patch, there is a test mode switch. So when we switch this off, and now when I hit an obstacle, the bird disappears and the counter stops counting when we pass through an obstacle. So this is very handy, so you don't have to restart the filter all the time. So when I turn back on the test mode and restart the filter, it is back to normal, so we can just test our game. So now the game is almost done. We just need a trigger to start the game, and I will show you how you can change the difficulty of the game, because this is also easy to do, because you can change the speed of the obstacles, you can change the gap between the obstacles, and also how often an obstacle should appear. So for this I made those two sliders. So when you change the gap slider here, you can see the gap between the obstacles is getting bigger, so it is much easier to fly through the obstacles. And when it is smaller, it is not that easy anymore, so you have to be really good to get the bird through the obstacles. But I will set it back to about 0.3. So now there is also this variation slider. When we set the variation slider to 0, you can see the gap is every time at the same place. But when we move the slider up, the gap, the position of the gap at the y-axis is changing, and much more. So this is the change, the variation. It is varying every time the obstacle appears. And also here you can change the speed. This is the second, this are the seconds how long the two obstacles move through the screen. So when we set the speed to 1, the obstacles are really fast, and when you set it to 5, they are really slow. So just find the perfect match here. You can also change the speed or the gap or the variation through time. So when, for example, 10 seconds in the game, the gap between the obstacles gets smaller. And there is one thing we can change, the distance of the obstacles. For example, when you set it to 0.4, it takes much longer for the next object to pass the screen. So I will set this back to 0.25. I think that's a good value. So this is how you can change the difficulty of the game. Now we will just create a trigger to start the game. So for this I will add a new patch. I will add a screen tap patch, and I will also add a switch patch. So then the gesture state output of the screen tap patch goes into the turn on input of the switch, and the output of this goes into the play input of the Flappy Bird game controller patch. So the screen isn't tapped, so the game stops. I will disable the test mode and restart our filter. Then I will set this to simulate touch. And now when I tap on the screen, the game should start. So tap on the screen and the game starts. At the moment it is very, very slow because the speed is set to 5. So we set it to 3, so it is much faster. And now when we hit an obstacle, the game ends. So there is no counting anymore, and also the bird disappeared. Maybe you want to have a game over message here on the screen, so we can do this easily. Just restart the game, add a new 2D text element. I will call this game over. I go to the right hand side, set the width to fill with. The text will be game over and the color will be red, and also the position of it should be in the middle of the screen. So now we just have to extract the visibility property of the game over patch. So this is only visible when we hit an obstacle. So extract the visibility of this. And now we need a not patch. And now we will connect the visibility bird output to the not input. And then the output of the not will be the input. It goes to the input of the game over patch. So now when the bird isn't visible, the game over is visible. At the moment the bird is really big, I think, so we can change this also. So select the bird plane here at the scene and set the scale to, let's say, 0.08, not 0.0, 0.8 for X and also for Y. But now turn back on the test mode, tap on the screen, test mode is on, so check if we don't have to, a little bit, the Y offset, I will set it to 0.03, so when it hits, now it is right, we can disable the test mode. And now the game is almost ready to ship. We just have to get rid of our 2 indicators. I have also created something for this. So we just have to extract the visibility property of our indicator null object. So click on the little arrow next to visible when the indicator is selected. And here I have also created a test mode output. So when the test mode is on, also the indicators will be on. So now when we restart the game and tap on the screen, there will be no indicator anymore. Just when we turn on the test mode again, we will have the indicator. We can't hit an obstacle. So this is very handy, I think. And now we have successfully created a Flappy Bird game. As you can see, there are a lot of settings you can do to make the game harder. So I will recommend to just play around here with this patch. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If yes, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new on this channel, it would be nice when you subscribe to it. So thanks for watching and see you at the next tutorial. Bye!